Okay. All right. Okay. Here we are. Welcome, everybody, to this week's live broadcast, Career Alchemy. I am Lori Swanson, your host, the CEO of Inspire Tech, the founder of Career Alchemy Academy, a membership community for women connected to tech, and here today to talk to you about the 3 steps to I guess I'll say the 3 steps to unlocking career advice from your authentic self. So there's this voice inside of us that has all kinds of wisdom. If we would listen, simply ask, and the guidance is there for us. So I wanted to talk about the 3 steps to unlocking career guidance. I also want to say that I am celebrating yesterday, the 29th of April, was 6 months of Career Alchemy. It's Career Alchemy Academy's birthday as of yesterday, but I'm celebrating it today here live with you. I celebrated it yesterday too. Celebration and celebrating achievements, big and small, is one of my goals for the year. I don't know if you're like this, but I happen to be the kind of person that gets really excited about some project or whatever I'm working on, and then I give it all I got. And all that whole process is, can be hard and can have its challenges, but it's also something that I really enjoy. And I'm talking about, and you have these same sorts of projects in your career, in my business, things like launching Career Alchemy Academy before we went live on October 29th of 2024, and everything I did working up to that point. And then every month we're doing something with inside of Career Alchemy Academy, besides our live coaching that happens every Tuesday and our co-working sessions that happen every Thursday. But we also have, guests that come on, and we have other things, webinars and workshops that we're doing. So there's always something going on, something I'm working on. And because of that, I've noticed that I'm someone who, at the completion of a project, I'll be like, oh my gosh, that was great. What's next? Not taking time to just pause, to really feel the achievement of something like, because Career Alchemy Academy was a dream. It was a kernel of a seed for years. And it was just in the back of my mind. It was, I was someone who loved to build community. I love bringing people together for my whole life, really. That's been a common thread. And so when I knew that I was going to be launching a coaching business, and as I was sort of figuring out all of that, always in the back of my mind was I wanted to have a membership community. I wanted to have a place that people could gather, specifically women connected to tech, and talk about their careers, but much more than that. Talk about the things that, that add to their lives, talk about the challenges that they're having in their lives and careers, and getting support around that. And really, probably, and why it's called Career Alchemy, why it's alchemy, is because it's about transformation and finding the gold. And even, with alchemy, when we talk about, the alchemical process of going from lead to gold, that's what they thought, believed alchemists. And I'm not saying it's not true. It could still happen, but that alchemists set out to do is to take lead and change it into gold. And there's this dross that's left behind. And I really want to also embrace that and find the failure gold. You might consider the dross a failure or not useful. So that was something that I just really wanted to do as part of this next, my third chapter within my business novel was about, I don't know how many chapters. It might only have 3. It could have 4, but it might have 3. But within that chapter, that I always wanted to include this membership community. And now we're celebrating 6 months. And like I said, not being someone who often stops and pauses, because I do get so much energy out of creating something new and building something new that, but I forget that, this has been hard work and it's been a long time coming. And so I'm just patting myself on the back right here. And I encourage all of you, if you have any little or big celebrations that you just didn't give enough airtime to, and you know it, do it today with me. Let's celebrate on April 30th, 2025, all of the things that we have accomplished in our careers, in our lives, all of the hard things we've gotten through deserve a a toot of the horn and a pat on the back. And so join me in celebration and let's keep celebrating. That is something that I plan to do more and more of, because I really think that everything you do, um, in life, all these things, all of these trials, like I said, all of the the successes, all of those are worthy of just a few minutes of, hey, good job well done. So that is something that's happening today. We are celebrating 6 months of Career Alchemy Academy, and you can bring your phone up. What I'm understanding is you have to bring your phone up really close to the QR code. It does work, but put it up really close and then click on it and read a little more about it and join us. Join us now. The thing that is happening is we're changing. Right now you have a few options, 3, 6, or 12 months that you can join. We will be going to just one option, making it easier for all of us. You don't have to think it through, think about it. It's just one option, 6 months going forward. And also the price will be increasing. The introductory price will go away probably, um, no sooner than May 15th, but not much after May 15th. Like, we're working on it now. And getting ready for that. So, and we're continuing to expand everything we give inside of Career Alchemy Academy. And so we're going to one amount of time. You can join anytime for 6 months, and then you can continue to stay inside of Career Alchemy Academy and renewing your membership. So that's all exciting too. We're continuing to evolve here inside the community. So for today's LinkedIn Live topic, I want to talk about the 3 steps to unlocking career guidance from your authentic voice. So inside of Career Alchemy Academy, we have a touchstone every month. Something, it's kind of like it's just a word that, or a phrase that I decide upon, usually by using some of my Oracle cards. I was going to pull them out, but I don't need to. But using some Oracle card deck, or just meditating and being like, what is the thing for this month? What's the common theme that we can all gather around and start to consider what it might mean for us. So we explore the traditional Merriam-Webster dictionary definition, but then we also look for ways to apply the wisdom from the touchstone that's beyond just your dictionary definition. And this month, the word was authenticity. And I have to say, I think it's true for all the words, but this one, more than many, is the word that I hope that the people inside of Career Alchemy Academy take and use as always coming back to, is like, is this authentically me? Am I being my most authentic self right now? As that sort of guiding touchstone. And in the dictionary, it's defined as genuine, real, and true. But I really like to think about it. The expanded definition is that authenticity is a way of being authentic, a way of being yourself, of being true to you, living aligned with your beliefs, your values, what matters most to you, who you are. That's you being your most authentic. It's about being genuine, yes, It's about being real. Yes. It's about being true. Yes. And sincere and honest and in all of your actions and all of your words, you know, that they're always, you're always saying what you really mean. You're always doing what you really want to do. We just had an event called Stop People Pleasing and Prioritizing You, and one of the big things about people pleasing is you're doing that. Um, there's a line between wanting to care for someone and losing the care for yourself to other people and other projects by saying yes when you mean no, by saying maybe when you really mean no, you know. And we talk through all of that, and there's so much of that is connected to you, to a person, to me, being inauthentic. When you say yes when you really mean no, that's you not aligning with who you really, really are. That, that could be a form of performance, covering up, staying quiet instead of raising your hand. I know someone on the call during the webinar said they're tired of holding back their voice, that they know that they've stayed quiet when they should have spoken up, and they're done with that. And that's, yes, that, by staying quiet, that's a form of people pleasing, but it's also a dishonor to your authentic, true self. So being authentic is aligning with your true self, regardless of parental, peer, societal pressures or expectations, that you're wearing what you want to wear, saying what you want to say, doing what you want to do, all of those things. So in the call last week, so like I said, every Tuesday we have live coaching. And right at the top of every call, like the first call in May, if you've joined before, next Tuesday, we announce the touchstone for the month, and then I talk a little bit about the definition. And I already know what the word is. Of course, I know what it is. I'm super psyched about it, but I'm not gonna say it here right now, because the official announcement's next Tuesday. But there's so much more to this word than what is in the dictionary, and just like with authenticity. And so I decided, and then so we will talk about the word, the first Tuesday of every month, and then I might do a little exercise. Sometimes I do, sometimes I don't. In related to the touchstone, I'll ask about it. I'll ask how people, how it's showing up. When you think about authenticity, was there a time this past week before, between our calls, where you saw that you weren't aligning with your authentic self, or that you saw a place where you actually knew that if you didn't speak up or do something, that it would have been counter to your values and beliefs, authenticity, right? And that you did it. So we'll talk about those things, and those are celebrations. Now to really tie things together, those are all celebrations when we do things that take courage, and especially they're uncomfortable because we haven't been doing it for a long time. So I thought I would do an exercise within the last Career Alchemy, uh, last week's session. So we kicked off the call with an exercise, and everybody loved it. And so I thought to myself, well, I can't just keep this inside the Academy. This is something that needs to go wide, right? This is not just limited release. So I thought I would do it today. And it's an exercise where we are seeing what our authentic self might have to offer us in the way of career guidance and advice. And so if you're in a place when you're watching this, either live or because it stays, I think, on LinkedIn for a while, uh, you know, get paper and pen or use your phone, and I'm going to have you do, I really, really actually highly, highly recommend for this particular journal exercising to do paper and pen if you can. But certainly you can talk into your phone, or you can type it into your phone. But if you can do it on pen and paper, I know that there's research between, you know, what happens in your brain when you're actually writing with something versus texting. I someday I'll go and look all that up. It's interesting. I've looked it up before, but I forgot exactly what the benefits are. But I think it might be that you remember things more, might be one of them. I can't remember. But if anyone knows, comment in LinkedIn and let me know. And so get ready. Get your pen and paper. We're going to listen to your authentic voice, because your authentic voice only speaks to you, I guess I would say the authentic voice or your authentic self speaks to you in a voice that's quiet but clear. It's peaceful and calm. It resides, like, you can feel it. It's not from your left brain. This is not something, and you can tell if your like thoughts are swirling in your head, that you've moved away from your center where your authentic voice resides. And so we'll start with a little quieting, getting still and getting quiet for this particular exercise, because we want to close down the chatter a little bit, and we want to remind ourselves to focus on our center, focus our breath on our center. Then the authentic voice just has more space to deliver a message. And it always speaks the truth, but in the kindest and most loving ways. So it's 3 steps. Step 1, I've already alluded to, is to get still and breathe. So we will do the smell the flowers twice, blow out the candles. This is something that we do regularly inside of Career Alchemy Academy as a way to, and in my private coaching clients, as a way to just kind of let go of what's happening in the moment, let go of all the work that you've been involved in, all that's coming up in front, and bring you present, bring you now. So when you're breathing in, breathe in deep, and then one more breath in. I call that smelling the flowers twice. You're expanding your lungs, and then slowly exhaling. And as you're breathing in, I want you to breathe in just calm and peace. And as you're breathing out, letting go of anything that needs to go, any resistance, any self-doubt, any to-do lists, just any of that. And we're going to do 3 rounds of that for today. But you can do as many as you need to until you feel yourself, even on the out breath, as you're letting go of everything. You can also start to calm yourself. Sometimes I'll guide people with relaxing your jaw and relaxing your shoulders and relaxing your arms and your little fingers that are typing all day, and relaxing, your back and your buttocks and your thighs and your knees and all the way down to your toes. So also be thinking that on the out breath, that you're letting go of any resistance or self-doubt or to-do lists. And at the same time as you're doing that, you can feel yourself sort of melting into your chair or wherever you're sitting right now. 3 rounds. Here we go. I like to close my eyes. Smelling the flowers twice. Blowing out the candles. Slow exhale. Letting your brain know everything is safe right now. We're well. Calming, quieting, relaxing. Let's do 2 more. 3's not enough. Releasing. 1 more round. All right. Okay, here we are. So step 2 is I want you to get out your pen and paper, and I want you to, I'm going to have you do right now, we're going to go for just 1 minute, but then you'll have the question. And then later, I'd love for you, this is something I do on a regular, and I think the more time you can give yourself to journal, 10 minutes would be better, 15 minutes even better, because this is sort of you may have heard of like free writing or free journaling. So we're going to ask a question, and then you're just going to keep writing. Your pen never comes up off the page. You're not thinking, you're just writing. And if you're not If you're not sure what to write, you just write, I'm not sure what to write, and then keep going. And then your subconscious, and I think connected to this divine line of wisdom that is your authentic self, it's going to start as you just keep moving your hand, or if you're just typing in your phone, you're just pushing letters. That's why it's really hard to text. I think that requires too much of your left brain. So I highly recommend you do this later writing, but if all you have right now is your phones, then just type it in, or your desktop, then just type it in. And then later go back and do this and spend 10 to 15 minutes on step one, the breathing and getting centered, and then another 10 to 15 minutes, if you can find it, on this question. So you're going to answer the following question, writing, not stop writing, not allowing your left brain to get involved at all, writing from the center of your being, from the voice of your authentic self, and you're going to ask it, what would you have me know about my career right now? Just start writing. And I'm going to give you a minute, only because you don't want to be quiet for 10 minutes on a LinkedIn Live. They might cut me off. Okay. I am certain that even in that short minute that you were writing, that your authentic voice had something to say. So as I said, I encourage you to keep writing and take this home with you and do this when you're in a quiet space. But I feel like this LinkedIn Live, like this place, when I come live on LinkedIn, has got to be the most calm and energetic, like back and forth, because I'm definitely a high energy type of person, but I'm also very committed to being still and being quiet. And I just don't think there's anything like this out on LinkedIn. I'm not your typical business career coach. I can tell you that right now. So now you've done a little responding to that question. And just because we're here on LinkedIn, I'm shortening it up significantly, but I want to get you to part 3, which is the reflect and respond. So I want you to read what your authentic voice had to say. And then you want to ask it another question. What is the next right action that I can take in regards to this advice you've given me right now? And sometimes the best action is no action at all. It could be no action at all. But that would be, and I'm not going to do that right now because of the nature of this exercise. I do think it's better for you to be taking this home with you. It's a take home assignment. But I definitely like to also hear what you have to say about it. So in LinkedIn, DM me, let me know once you've heard from your authentic self, what it had to say about your career and what action or non-action step it was suggesting for you. And that's it. Very simple. Getting still and quiet, asking, writing, and receiving, and then reflecting and responding. So getting still, asking your authentic voice what you need to know right now, what you're struggling with. Writing, free writing, just keep your hand moving. This will keep your left brain out of the action. You can tell your left brain to just put its feet up. We don't need it right now. You keep doing the thing. Then when you feel complete, or after, 10, 15 minutes, read through it, reflect upon it, and then ask your authentic voice another question and do some more writing. And this time I would write, you'll know, it might be 1 minute, it might be 30 seconds, it might be 3 minutes before it gets to the right action, but you'll feel it again. Your authentic voice will be like, oh, that was a left brain suggestion. That was a left brain suggestion. This is my suggestion. You'll know the difference. And the more you do this, the more you're going to be able to distinguish between the left brain, analytical, logical response and your true, authentic, heart-inspired response, which is the guidance that we really, really want to take, because ultimately it keeps us aligned with our true north. That's the only way the authentic voice can point you, is to your true north, through your true, authentic nature and self. The world will keep, this is my poem, the world will keep trying to tell you who to be. Your authentic self will keep gently reminding you who you are. When you learn to trust her voice, your career becomes not just a job, but a journey of becoming. And it's time to come home to who you really are in your career. And if you know that to be true, that the time has come for you to return home to your authentic self and your authentic career, join Career Alchemy Academy, because that's what we do, not your everyday career coaching program, but otherworldly in the best of ways. So that's all I have to share with you today, but thank you for joining me. Thank you for listening, and I'll see you next week. I believe we're at the same time, but it's possible it's moved, but we will always see the post out here on LinkedIn of the time of next week's call, because I might be going somewhere next week. I think I am. So I think it's been moved to Thursday. So just check it out. Or if you want to know for sure, you can always DM me, and we will let you know exactly the time. So that's that. And thank you again. Always just so much fun to be here out in the stratospheres of LinkedIn. Talk to you all soon.